Happy 4th of July. It's actually Thursday, July 3rd, the day before the 4th of July. But, I'm looking forward to, this 4th of July. It's the beginning of the 250th birthday of our country. There's many reasons to be happy, to be celebrating our president, Donald Trump, maybe the greatest president we've ever had. And, I didn't vote for him, but I like him. And, the end times is, he's a player, man, because it's right there in Second Thessalonians, when the last trumpet sounds, in the twinkling of an eye, we will all be changed. But, Trump, has been just kicking ass, and the Democrats who are fighting him tooth and nail are getting their ass kicked. And, it's unbelievable, but, America seems to be filled with people who hate America, which is kind of hard to understand. But, one of the channels I watch, Supernatural by Design, brother Jared, he's a rapture rider, believes in the rapture. I don't. But, as this whole thing was approaching with Iran, I knew Donald was going to drop the bomb, the mother of all bombs. I didn't know he was going to drop 6 of them, but he dropped one in his first term, But, a lot of people, the scenario was, he drops the bombs on Iran, and then Russia and China and everybody else that has nuclear weapons starts firing them at either Israel or the United States, and the world gets vaporized. But hold on, Jesus drops down and raptures everybody out of here, except those who are left behind. They're incinerated, And actually, I left him a message. I said, hey, man, you ever stop to think that maybe if Donald Trump drops this Moab, that what's going to break out is world peace? And I really haven't heard from Jared since then. But, that's how it is, man. Everybody interprets stuff. Everybody thinks they know kind of what's going on. And I will say for sure, I have a completely different vision than most people. But, I do believe we're kind of at that point where it's the last Trump. Everybody is going to be saying peace and safety, and then sudden destruction, But you see, I don't think the sudden destruction is World War III or a nuclear war and the world getting vaporized, even though, guess what? That could happen, because we've shown over and over again that we're more than capable of killing ourselves, and the destruction, we bring it on ourselves. Everybody thinks, God's up there with a big baseball bat ready to just crack us over the head. But, I think we bring our own destruction, even in the past, Noah's flood, all of that. And the destruction is brought on by our relationship with God. Are we walking towards him, or are we walking away from him? Is he our friend, or is he our enemy? Is Donald Trump, making America great again, or is he Hitler? That's the kind of paradigms we're in, and everybody's got to kind of figure it out. But the sudden destruction, I'm thinking it's us bringing it on ourselves. And, another character that everybody has in the end times is the Antichrist, who's kind of like an enemy of God and Jesus. And a lot of people have said, hey, it's this person or that person. I've never really said it was any one person, but you know what? I'm going to actually go out on a limb today. I say, take a look. New York City is the financial capital of the world. What a better place for the new Antichrist to make his throne. And there's this communist, a guy by the name of Zohan Mamidani. And, to me, spiritually, when I rearrange the letters in his name, it says, I am a madman. And, you kind of got to be kind of insane to be a communist anyway. And, what's amazing about the dude is like, he comes across super cool, and he speaks really well, communicates, kind of like everybody thought Obama was a great communicator. And guess what? He was. And, Ronald Reagan was a great communicator, and Donald Trump is a super duper communicator. But what we know is he pisses some people off who just hate his guts. And if you mention his name, or that's why they don't show him on the Kool-Aid channels, because they'd have to, all their listeners would be foaming at the mouth and having to go down to like the emergency ward or something, or going out and trying to hurt somebody, because most of the violence is happening on the left. But, you know what? I'm going to say this guy, Mamdani, could be, I think he could be the Antichrist. I was on record saying Joe Biden was possessed by the devil himself. So I see all those, maybe I'll get a video and go deeper into it, looking at Revelations and all the end time, predictions, that even Jesus made. So, we're living in crazy times, and, man, I think they just passed Trump's big, beautiful bill. And, it kind of is going to compete against Joe Biden, who said, let's build back better. And all he did was be bitter. And I'm trying to think of 3 B's, make us broke and, son of a bitch, But, you know what? Today, I'm not trying to think about the negative things, because you know what? God has a plan, man. That's the bottom line. And I'm just telling you, it may not be what you've been programmed to believe watching movies or TV or listening to Jared, and I like Jared, man. He's super interesting, and there's some other people, that think they can predict stuff, and, they never kind of address the stuff that they get wrong, and so you got to be careful when you predict stuff. But predicting stuff is not that hard. Like, once again, I told my father-in-law, like a week before, he turned to me and goes, because he's kind of a Kool-Aid drinker, and he said, do you think Trump's going to drop the bomb? And I was like, dude, of course he's going to drop the bomb. Hello, McFly. Like you're obviously not watching the right channels. He just came out on TV and told us all he was going to do it, But, if you limit your sources of information and you believe everything you hear from that one source, oh man, you're not going to be walking in truth so much, more in delusion. But the sudden destruction, and we will all be changed in the twinkling of an eye, sounds like the same thing to me, that it applies to the whole world and might be about to happen. So, and I'll bring forth some other evidence of that, but there might be 2 types of changes, because that's how it is. It's the yin and the yang. It always is. Nothing is literally good or bad, but most everything can be either good or bad, like money or a gun or people. So this big change in the twinkling of an eye, I would say, is both good and bad, but it's not probably the, literal stuff that people throw out there, like flying up in the air or nuclear vaporization, but it's definitely going to be spiritual. So, I'll end it at that. Happy 4th of July. I've had family and friends and have been having a bunch of fun. That's why I haven't really been able to put up a video lately, but I'll try and get stuff rolling this month. And my birthday, of course, is the big 7/10, and all things happen around that. Everything's synchronized. Time, space, planets, everything, is going to go down. We're on the road. I rode the Big Dipper roller coaster just a week ago, because I went back to Santa Cruz, California for a friend's mother's 90th birthday. And I kind of told everybody I wasn't going to ride nothing, but, my friend's sister is a cancer survivor, and she had it on her bucket list. So I had no choice but to get on there and ride it. But, in life, sometimes you got to take chances, and it is a roller coaster, up, down, but hopefully we all get to the end of the ride, all of us. All right. Hey, much love. God bless, and happy 4th. And God bless America. God bless Donald Trump.